rush through this. Sit with me. I put real provision in your hands once, and right now, the shadows are quietly trying to swap my gold for their dust. I carved your name into a promise a long time ago. It is just sitting there, waiting for your grip to tighten around it. Don't let it slip through your fingers. What I am telling you next is the key to a heavy door you gave up on. You see, some people spend their whole lives before realizing their own identity has built a wall against my grace. Underneath your empty bank accounts and battered dignity is a deeper battle. This isn't just about cold math. It is a silent war between my hope for you and the dark. Miss this, and you miss everything. The breakthrough I built for you stays hanging in the air, just out of reach. You think you are only fighting against a dry season and empty pockets. But honestly, you are walking straight through an active war zone. The heavy weight crushing your shoulders and the raw pain of watching a breakthrough slip away at the last second is not bad luck. It is where your name, your true identity, has been dragged through the mud by things I never wanted on you. And with every step, your name either clears a path for power or secretly locks the door I am pushing to open. Many live feeling like their road is always getting cut off by a dead end. The moment they climb, they get dragged back down. A sliver of light shows up, then heavy clouds swallow it. It is not that I am deaf, but unseen chains are fighting for control over your life. Your name, meant to be a brand of my favor, has become a target for the enemy's lies. But do not lose heart. I am not telling you this to drag you down, but to wake you from this thick fog. Once you see what is choking your blessing and holding on to you, you can finally stand tall in the power I gave you. This war was never meant to break you. It is here to show you that my promises are solid steel, if you will just stop letting your identity be forged into chains. I know the seasons where you poured out your soul, crying out until your throat went raw, starving your body to hear my voice, holding on to belief until your ribs ached. Yet nothing shifted an inch. Your answer was not dead. It was just hanging in midair. You could see it, but your hands couldn't grasp it. Over those long days, your spirit began to crack. On the outside, you wore a brave face. Inside, you were a dying flame. You started blaming yourself, thinking, maybe he doesn't hear me anymore. Maybe I messed up. Maybe it is all over. This limbo drags so many into a numb, gray fog. They don't walk away from me, but they stop expecting anything beautiful. That is the most dangerous place of all, where your body still sits in my house, but your hope is buried in a graveyard. I say this to wake you, not to scare you. The stall is not always my doing. Often some force is actively holding your breakthrough hostage, letting it dangle above you like a cruel joke. You stand before me with exhausted hands, telling yourself that if you can just hold on for one more mile, the dam will burst. But as the calendar pages turn, your hope shatters into a heavy silence. I know how often your soul has whispered, "Why is my prayer still stuck?" But in that silence, I see something far more dangerous than an unanswered prayer. I see exhaustion slowly eating away at your trust in me. And as that trust bleeds out, you start believing you aren't worthy of a miracle anymore. Remember my word, the just shall live by faith. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 38. That promise has not vanished into thin air. Your heart just got tired before you could grasp it. In that brutal stretch of silence, you felt like all your work was just vanishing into the void. You did everything right, prayed with honest tears, kept your hands clean, yet the door didn't budge an inch. I see you faking a smile to keep others from worrying. But I also see you staring at the ceiling at night, silent in your heartbreak. You think I am miles away, but I am standing so close, I can feel the warmth of your breath. Never forget that even when the heavy door has not yet cracked open, I still hold you, just like I promised in Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10. Do not fear, for I am right here. I will hold you up with my strong hand. This delay is not me leaving you behind. It is the cage where I rebuild your wings before you soar. You will have to watch others breeze into their harvest while you are still sweating in the dirt. You are not bitter, but you just can't make sense of why their path was so smooth. Look, every single promise carries a different weight. Some arrive fast because they are light and easy to hold. Others take time because they are heavy with glory. Sometimes I stretch your road to protect you from a rush that would crush what I built. When I pause, you think it is a dead end, but to me it is training. Like Psalm 27 verse 14 says, "Wait on the Lord, be strong." I see your soul grinding down to the bone in these long, quiet days before the dawn. It is easy to survive a sudden storm, but a slow, endless drizzle will rot your bones. You are tired because the horizon is completely dark. Exhausted because no matter how hard you run, the scenery never changes. But I need you to understand something deep. Standing still is not failing. Sometimes I order you to freeze. Like Exodus 14 verse 14 says, "The Lord will fight for you. Just be still." When the gears halt, my favor hasn't run dry. I am simply out there bleeding and fighting for you in the dark. But this heavy silence tempts so many to drift into that cold, gray place. They don't quit on me, but they stop believing I can do anything good. You still show up, but you keep your guard up now. You pray, but expect nothing. You sing, but you don't actually believe a breakthrough will ever have your name on it. It breaks my heart to see you standing there, caught between believing and doubting. I have never once taken back a promise I made to you. That is why I need to gently remind you, faith isn't some fleeting emotion. It's a living, breathing connection between us. If you let hope get buried, then even when a miracle comes close, it'll struggle to reach you. This delay isn't just about your outer circumstances. It's the silent war between your faith and the loud voices crowding your mind. I see you blaming yourself, deciding you are not good enough, strong enough, or spiritual enough. But I have never asked you to be perfect in the way you think. I only ask that you show up with an honest heart, without hiding or condemning yourself. I promised you in Psalm 34 verse 18 that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted. It's when you are most exhausted that I draw closest to you. This delay isn't meant to expose your weakness, but to reveal my strength. My child, I know there are days when you feel trapped in a long corridor with no exit, but that feeling is not the truth. It's what happens when you fix your eyes on the clock instead of on me. Time discourages you, but I renew your strength day by day. What you need right now is not an instant answer, but a heart willing to take my hand once again. When you turn back and look at me rather than the delay, you will find your steps aren't so heavy. The door doesn't swing open because you are rushing it. It opens when your heart is quiet enough to actually walk through. Don't fear the wait. It has no power to write your ending. It can wear you down, sure, but it can never defeat you as long as you hold on to me. You think you're just waiting for a financial breakthrough, but I am building deep character authority and the capacity in you to handle the blessing when it arrives. The breakthrough I have for you isn't just to survive today's crisis. It's to build a stable future. What I am doing in the silence is far greater than what you beg for in tears. And when the right moment arrives, you'll finally see why I chose you to walk this hard road. My child, once your heart begins to understand this weight, you'll step into a much deeper wisdom. Because it's not just physical circumstances holding you back. but spiritual forces in the unseen world fighting for influence over your life. What is happening behind your name and the bloodline you carry is far more complex than you think. But I am going to reveal this to you so you can stop living in confusion and step into the authority I planned for you from day one. There are quiet truths that do not shout, yet they carve themselves deeply into your very destiny. And you only recognize them when you've walked far enough to feel completely exhausted. I see that quiet feeling rising in you, that something is actively working against you. Even though you did nothing wrong, that feeling isn't an illusion. In the unseen world, ancient voices have been echoing down through your family history, setting up borders you never agreed to, yet are still trapped by. This isn't just today's struggle. It is the leftover weight of old covenants made by those who came before you. Remember what I said in Exodus 20 verse 5. Spiritual consequences can reach the third and fourth generations. I don't say this to condemn you, but to warn you that unseen cords can still pull incredibly tight. Entire families live under dark, unspoken shadows that no one ever dares to name, yet everyone feels the weight. One person grinds their whole life and ends up with nothing. Another has incredible talent but can never get a break. A third gets right to the edge of success but never crosses over. This isn't bad luck or poor timing. It's the sign of invisible locks on your bloodline. I don't want you to fear this. I want you to understand it so you can finally stop blaming yourself. For I promised in Galatians 3 verse 13 that Christ redeemed you from every curse, which means those locks can be broken. But before they can break, you have to recognize they exist. There are dark agreements made on the very honor of your family line, traded away in the domain of darkness for some cheap benefit or protection, forcing later generations to walk blindly under that shadow. You never signed those agreements, yet your own name still carries the scar. That is why the harder you try, the more you feel like you are swimming against a brutal, exhausting current. Not because you lack what it takes, but because the spiritual tide is working against you. I see every single drop of your sweat. Every single time you ask yourself, why do I work so hard and harvest so little? It's not that my miracles are slow, but that an unseen battle is blocking the path. I want you to understand what I made clear in Ephesians 6 verse 12. Our struggle is not against flesh and blood. You are fighting unseen spiritual powers, not the people in front of you. Do you know why there are people who are deeply kind, diligent, and gentle? Yet every single time a good opportunity comes near, it slips right through their fingers. It's because an invisible limit has been stamped over their name, a ceiling they don't even know exists. I did not set that boundary, but an invisible label left by ancient agreements, saying this one is not allowed to prosper. This one must never rise. This one must survive on scraps. The most heartbreaking part is that so many believe this struggle is just their fate, when I never planned that for them. I made you in my image to rule, not to be ruled. That is why I gave you the raw power of my word in John 8, verse 36. If the Son sets you free, you are free indeed. You do not have to inherit this darkness. You have the power to break it. But I see the confusion. Most people think struggle is just a lack of skills, a missed connection, or not working hard enough. They don't realize there is an active spiritual war waged against everything I want to do in their lives. You have wondered why you do everything right, yet your life still falls short of your dreams. It's because you are fighting more than just everyday obstacles. You are fighting old spiritual records trying to define you. They speak against who I have called you to be. Listen closely to my voice right now. I did not build you to live bound by these ancestral limits. You are the one who will break this cycle forever. Like and subscribe to join our online faith community. Like Joshua 2:45 says about leaving behind your ancestors' gods, you have every right to step out of that deep family darkness. Listen, even if those dark things feel real, you don't need to shake. My strength runs deeper than any chain holding you, and my name stands far above any secret deal made in the dark. Just walk close to me and let me light up those dusty corners you've been too terrified to face. I'm not just pulling you out of bad soil. I want to rewrite your family story from the ground up so your kids won't have to carry debts they never ran up. The second you stand up, the whole air around you changes. I'm right here beside you, exactly like I promised in Isaiah 59:1. Look, my reach isn't too short to find you. No matter how deep you've fallen, you can never slip past my grasp. As you start to uncover the truths hidden in your past, you'll realize these breakthroughs aren't just about making your life easier. They're healing the very roots of who you are. They restore your name and the legacy left by those before you. Look closer. You'll see this fight isn't just about a tight budget or missed breaks. It is a war over your dignity, your true identity, and how you stand before me. When your name gets buried under cheap lies, I will take you by the hand and show you exactly what is being stolen from you. There are scars you can't see on your skin that cut deep into your name. Every time someone calls your name, you quietly agree with old lies that stuck to you years ago. I see how your heart aches when you remember the rejections, the failed attempts, and the dreams that fell apart. Honestly, you don't even need critics anymore. You whisper the exact cruel things the enemy wants you to believe about yourself. The enemy doesn't have to steal your cash first. He just needs to ruin the way you look in the mirror. Because if you forget who you are, the beautiful life I've planned will feel too heavy for a heart that's learned to hide. Like Proverbs 2:37 says, "As a man thinks in his heart, so is he." If you believe a false label, you'll start bending your life to fit it. I see you quietly sighing when you think about your future. You don't dare to dream big anymore because every time you step out, fear shows up to throw your past failures in your face. So you slam the door shut before you even get a chance to knock. But listen to the labels they've stuck on you, like unreliable, drowning in debt, useless, or lagging behind, never came from me. They're just cheap labels slapped on by critics or the dark. They weren't written by the hand that made you. I call you by a different name, one carved into the book of life, where not one single page says you're a failure. Remember Isaiah 4:31. I've called you by your name. You belong to me, and when I speak, every lie must fade away. What breaks my heart isn't just that the world hurt you. It's that you believed those lies for so long. They started to feel like the absolute truth. You're walking on eggshells now, terrified of being a nuisance, scared to make mistakes, and dreading another door slammed in your face. I didn't design you to live in a shell. I made you in my image, strong, worthy, and respected. But when you nod along with those accusations, your own words end up signing the warrant against you. I need you to wake up to this. James 3:10 reminds us that blessing and cursing shouldn't pour from the same mouth. If you use your voice to tear yourself down, I try to open fresh doors for you, but you walk in with your head down, looking like someone who expects to be thrown out. You think my favor is reserved for the spiritual giants, the smart ones, the perfect ones. But that's not how I pick my family. I look at the heart, not a resume. A broken, honest spirit is worth more to me than any talent you could ever show off. Don't forget the heroes in my book carried heavy labels before I rewrote their names. Abram became Abraham. Sarai became Sarah. Jacob became Israel. I didn't give them new names just for show. I did it to wake them up to who they were born to be. Ever wonder why the dark wants to steal your self-respect before it goes after your wallet? Because dignity is the soil where blessing grows. If you feel completely worthless, you won't reach for big dreams, and you won't fight to keep what's good. That's how you get trapped in these exhausting loops. You build something up, then watch it crumble. You climb a little, then lose your way. The enemy is terrified of you realizing you're my child, because when you know that every chain breaks, just like John 1:12 promises, to all who welcomed him, to those who trusted in his name, he gave the authority to become children of God. You aren't just rescued, you've been given real authority. Those cheap lies do more than just sting. They completely blind you to the very next step I want to lead you into. If you feel insignificant, you'll drag your feet at the doors I've opened. If you feel empty, you won't even reach out to take the grace I'm pouring out. When you think you're not enough, you walk right past the open doors. But listen to me. I'm about to pull you through a gate bigger than your wildest dreams. I want you living like royalty, not begging for scraps. I want to scrape away all the noise in your mind so you can hear my voice clearer than the ghosts of your past. Once you grab hold of the raw truth that you aren't some product of failure, but the very heartbeat of my will, your entire world will start to shift. Those cheap labels don't just freeze you in place. They blind you to the destiny I'm building for you. You'll finally see that what looked like a massive financial crisis was really just a surface-level shadow. I'm working on a much bigger scale now, handling things you can't even see yet. But I'm leading you there, one step at a time. I know my timing drives you crazy sometimes, because I don't move as fast as you want. You think you're just begging for enough cash to clear your bills, just a little breathing room to escape this cycle. But what I see when I look at you is infinitely bigger than anything you could ever ask for. If I rush to answer you without mending the deepest parts of your heart first, the very blessing you crave would become a weight too heavy to carry. I refuse to hand you a gift that will make you trip and fall. As Proverbs chapter 10 verse 22 tells us, the blessing of the Lord brings true wealth without painful struggle. If that door is still locked, I am not holding out on you. I am busy tearing down the hidden traps that would only end up hurting you once you step inside. Sometimes I slam doors shut on purpose. You think I am rejecting you, but you cannot see the quiet traps waiting on the other side of that threshold. I see the fake friends hiding quiet jealousy and the glittering opportunities that are actually just golden chains waiting to bind you. I see the achievements that would feed your ego instead of your soul. You only see this single moment, but I see the entire horizon when I slow things down. I am not moving slowly. I am guarding your footsteps so you do not wander off into a wilderness that was never meant for your story. As Psalm 121 verse 7 promises, the Lord will keep you from all harm. You have no idea how many disasters I have swept from your path by simply saying, "Not yet." This delay is actually heaven aligning. I am shifting circumstances, clearing the path for real relationships, weeding out the users, and quietly mending the broken, hidden corners of your soul. I do all this work in the quiet shadows, so when that breakthrough finally hits, you will stand tall, unshaken, and ready, instead of falling apart from the shock. Do not hate this quiet season of preparation. It is the solid concrete foundation for the massive abundance you are about to step into. As 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 10 promises, after you have suffered a little while, the God of all grace will personally restore you. He will make you strong, steady, and unshakable. I must pour the deep foundation before I build the house. Understand this. A sudden financial miracle is not my ultimate goal for your life. It is just a tool I use on this road to forge your character, strengthen your faith, and expand your vision. If you only beg for cash, you are asking for something far too small. Ask me to transform you, and you will get a whole new existence. Too many receive blessings without growing up. Then that blessing only acts as a massive magnifying glass for their deepest flaws. I refuse to let you step into success with a fragile, unready heart, because that would tear you apart from the inside. As Psalm 37 verse 4 teaches, "Take delight in the Lord, and He will give you your heart desires." If you let me reshape what you crave, I am going to redirect your steps completely. One day soon, you will look back at this exact moment and realize I was never a single second late. You are not falling behind. I am simply getting you ready to run further than you ever dreamed possible. There are silent shifts happening in your life right now that no one else can see. They are teaching you why growth matters more than speed, preparing your heart to embrace the process. I am going to lead you into a new season where your blessings are no longer a trial, but a living testimony of your faith. Listen closely, my child. Just as you are about to reach out and touch this blessing, I must warn you about the most fragile moment of this entire journey. It is the trap where so many people fall. Not while they are waiting for the miracle, but right after it lands. The danger is not your empty pockets, but what happens when they are full. The danger is that you might lose your connection to me. I see your face light up as your dreams finally take shape. And trust me, I am celebrating right alongside you. But right behind that excitement lies a subtle trap that only a father's eye can spot. When abundance becomes normal, it is easy to forget the desperate nights when you wept in survival mode. It is not that you mean to be ungrateful, but human hearts are easily hypnotized by shiny new things. That is why I warn you in Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 11, "Never forget the Lord your God." You do not do it on purpose, but comfort rolls in so smoothly that you quietly convince yourself you are out of the danger zone. You begged me to lift you out of the valley, but once you reached the mountaintop, the thin air made it hard to hear my voice. Life got louder, busier, packed with new status and heavy responsibilities. Those are blessings, yes, but if you fail to guard your soul, they will choke out the space reserved for me alone. I have watched so many start on their knees in humility and end up blinded by their own self-made success. I do not judge them, but my heart breaks, because the most valuable thing you can ever own is not your new wealth, but your original hungry heart. The raw heart that trusted me when the cupboard was bare. Remember 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 7. What do you actually own that was not a gift from me? If you remember that, you will protect it. I know you do not want to drift, but comfort has a way of locking your eyes onto the material world. You get so consumed maintaining the gift that you stop talking to the giver. That is exactly the moment when your breakthrough morphs into heavy pressure. Your joy turns into a chore, and real thankfulness becomes a hollow duty. A blessing out of place will exhaust your soul far worse than poverty ever could. But keep me at the very center of your life, and no amount of wealth or success will ever be able to own you. As Matthew chapter 6, verse 21 says, "Where your treasure is, your heart will follow." Anchor your soul in the one place that cannot be shaken. I do not want to keep you poor. I just refuse to let money own you. I love seeing doors swing open for you. I celebrate your success and the respect you cried out for. But I have watched too many lives completely shatter right in the middle of their answered prayers. They forget that prosperity is not the finish line, just a tool to show my kindness to the world. Keep a truly grateful posture, and my favor will flow through you like fresh running water. Otherwise it rots. Like Proverbs chapter 3, verse 9 advises, Honor the Lord with your wealth. Surrendering your soul is the ultimate shield for the gifts I give you. Trust me, the real tragedy is not losing your money, but losing our connection. When I am pushed aside, cash becomes an idol, reputation becomes a heavy burden, and success only ends up spotlighting your deepest insecurities. I will not let you drift away. Love me first, so you never lose yourself. Like and subscribe to join our quiet faith community. Gratitude isn't just a mindset. It's the heavy anchor keeping your soul steady when waves of prosperity try to sweep you away. Keep that thankfulness alive, and your blessings will stay safe. Look that financial breakthrough you've been begging for. It's not the finish line of this long, exhausting journey. It's just a quiet test. Will you be a stagnant reservoir or a flowing channel? Reservoirs hoard everything and turn bitter. Channels let my grace pour through, staying clean, fresh, and alive. I need you to be that open pipeline. Let my favor flow through you to heal others. Live like that, and I promise your own well will never run dry. I will supply all your needs from my glorious riches. My child, in this moment, just stop. Feel the heavy, peaceful silence wrapping around your soul. In this stillness, I'm whispering the truths you were simply too exhausted to hear before. Let me write this deep on your heart, a reality this world can't grasp. In the unseen realm, things don't shift just because of raw need or bad circumstances. Everything moves by what rises from your heart, by your raw faith, by the softness that lets me guide you, and the quiet surrender that bows to my voice. It's about letting go. Stop hugging those heavy anxieties tight to your chest. Lay them flat at my feet. The second you open your heart and stop fighting, I'm already moving. Not with a loud, chaotic show, but through deep, silent shifts in the dark, unseen spaces. I'm snapping change you can't even see yet. Behind the scenes, financial doors locked for decades are finally creaking open. Even if you don't feel it yet, I'm wiping out the generational shadows and heavy curses that have haunted your bloodline. Listen, you don't realize there are ancient unspoken verdicts over your life. Silent judgments, sitting like a thick layer of choking dust on your name and your every breath, making you feel dragged backward, no matter how hard you fight. But today, I am blowing a fierce, clean wind right through those dusty old archives. I'm tearing up those worn-out pages. I am crossing out the sentences that said you were only ever allowed to struggle, scrape by, and live in lack, in debt, and dead ends. I am shattering the heavy accusations you've had to carry, the toxic words your ancestors left behind that clung to your blood like an invisible, haunting stain. I am tearing you away from the dark whispers that haunt you like a shadow waiting to strike the moment you try to step into a fresh start. They try to snuff out the fire I put in you before the earth was even formed. But trust me, that spark never died. You've just been too exhausted to see your own reflection. You think you're nothing special, just another face in the crowd, but I carved my own image deep into your soul. You believe you're weak, but wrapped in me you have a fierce strength you've never dared to tap. You think you're worthless, but I have carved your name in the highest heavens. No matter what darkness tries to bury it, that fire will rip through the thickest smog, bringing you back to who you've always been. I tell you this with absolute love and gravity. Today, your name is being restored. Every piece of honor life stole from you, I will rebuild. The breakthroughs that slipped through your fingers, I'm bringing them back in ways that will leave you speechless. The promises you thought died are coming alive. I have a miracle with your name written on it, a financial provision I would never trust to anyone else. Today, I'm putting it right in your hands. Not because you're perfect, but because those who hope in me will renew their strength. I'll carry you when you're weary. Not a single desperate cry was lost in the empty air. Your quietest whispers rose to my throne like sweet incense. And every single tear you shed, I counted them all. I bottled every tear. I heard you sobbing in the dark when nobody else was looking. I felt your heavy sighs when sleep wouldn't come. I saw you beating yourself up, feeling smaller than everyone else, even though you gave it everything. I know you feel completely unworthy, but I see those jagged, bleeding cracks in your heart. Yet you still choose to trust me, even with a dying breath. That is what moves me. I'm not some cold, invisible force up in the sky, or a harsh judge demanding payment. I am a father, kneeling in the dirt to hold his child, who is just too exhausted to stand. I am the parent, waiting patiently while you struggle, doubt, and complain. I come with the raw power of the universe, wrapped in absolute gentleness, ready to pull you tight against my chest. In the middle of all this noise, I'm asking you for just one simple thing, something small but critical for your breakthrough. Keep your grip firm. Standing firm doesn't mean you never shake or feel terrified. It means you refuse to let your mind drown in the loud lies that make you forget what I promised you in the dark. Trusting means staring at empty hands, but knowing I am already working. It means whispering, "Thank you," even before the miracle actually shows up in front of you. It means grabbing my hand tight when the path ahead is pitch black. That raw trust is the solid rock beneath your feet, so that when the breakthrough finally hits, it won't be a sudden storm that knocks you flat on your face, but a permanent reminder of how deeply I love you. Understand this: every single time you stand strong, the entire spiritual realm locks into place on your behalf. When your heart is locked in hell itself, can't shake you. When you cling to me, every single curse gripping your life has to drop its hold. Darkness cannot live inside someone who knows exactly whose they are. When you grip onto hope, the steel doors of finance will swing open like they were never locked. When you surrender, every spiritual debt hunting you down is wiped clean. Stay humble, and my blessings won't become heavy burdens. Walk with me, and the shifts I make in your life won't just stop at fixing your bank account. It will rebuild how you see yourself, how you see the world, and how you see me. This isn't just about your wallet or your reputation. What I'm doing is deeper, wider, and far more permanent than anything you can physically see. I never stop at just answering prayers. I am restoring your soul and setting you where you belong. If this healed you, like and subscribe to join our faith community. Today, when I tell you your name is being restored, I am not just talking about earthly respect. I am speaking of your name written in eternity, your true name in the Spirit, and my eternal plan. When I say the financial breakthrough with your name on it is returning, this is not some quick temporary fix. I am giving you the ground to stand in, a season of abundance, without losing who you are. And when I promise nothing of yours is forgotten, I am proving that my love runs deeper than your mind can ever grasp. Let this truth sink deep into your bones. I have never looked away from you. Even when you feel completely lost, I am right there, watching every single trembling step you take in the dark. When you lose your way, I guard the road so you cannot slip from my grip. When you want to quit, I hold your very breath so you can keep moving. I'm not just talking to you today. I'm here to rebuild your heart and remind you that you are not left out in the cold. You are not forgotten. You are mine. And because you belong to me, the breakthrough you need will arrive on time. Every prayer you breathed is being answered. Every door that slammed shut in your face will swing open in my perfect timing. Keep your heart steady and hold your ground. Do not let the brutal storms you survived break your spirit. Do not let the cheap opinions of others lessen the high value I placed on you. Do not let the waiting make you doubt my love. Do not let whispers of defeat tell you who you are. Let me speak your true name once again, not with the noise of this world, but with the voice that built eternity. Protect your heart, because that is where I am sewing the broken pieces of your life back together. When you stand firm, everything else will fall into place. Listen to me. Do not let the dust of heavy exhaustion choke out the fire I am lighting along your path. Fatigue does not get the final say, and it cannot block the future I have carved out for you. I know some mornings you wake up heavy, feeling like there is absolutely nothing left to grip. But right there, in that quiet collapse, I am asking you to pause and listen to my whisper over the roar. The screams of fear might hunt your mind. They want to construct shadows to convince you that you are alone. But my voice remains steady, low, and unbreakable, reminding you that no wave of panic can wash away the promises I spoke over you. Remember this: the quiet accusations belong to the dark, but real life comes from me. When fear tries to scream inside your chest, let your spirit rise like a fighter and declare that I am bigger than whatever is trying to break you. Speak those words aloud, not for my benefit, because I hear you before you even breathe a sound, but so your own soul remembers that what is yours has not been stolen or lost. It is on the move, heading your way in my perfect time, a moment that will not miss its mark by a single second. When you speak and say, I believe my promise is coming home, you are not just talking. You are building an altar of raw faith in your soul, where faith becomes a fire that consumes every single lie that clung to your skin for years. You cannot see it, but when you speak my truth, heaven moves, and the dark trembles, because it cannot defeat a soul that refuses to let go of hope. If right now, as you hear these words, your chest tightens because something has reached into a deep, hidden space you never show anyone, do not brush this off as some passing feeling. This is not the fragile emotion of a broken heart. It is my Holy Spirit whispering to yours. He is waking up what has been sleeping within you, confirming my word did not miss its target. You are not standing outside the blessing. I am calling your name directly in this hour. I watched you drag yourself over the gravel of those broken roads. I saw how badly you wanted to quit, yet you got back up. That is why I am here. Guard this spark of faith while it still burns hot inside you. Do not let it go cold. Do not let cold logic kill what my spirit is setting on fire. Step out in bold faith, because real belief never sits still. It always moves. Go ahead and hit that like button, not as some empty click, but as a physical sign that you agree with my promise. Let your hand follow your heart. Write down your declaration in the comments. Do not do it to impress anyone, but to seal this truth inside your soul. I believe my breakthrough is released. Every word you type is like an arrow shot into the dark, tearing down the lies that claimed you are unworthy, that you will always be broke, or that you are just a spectator in everyone else's victory. No, you are not on the sidelines. You are standing right in the center of my design. And when you subscribe and share this message, you are not acting like you have it all figured out. You are reaching out to grab a brother or sister by the hand, walking together out of the wasteland. That desert was never meant for you alone. Millions of others are just as parched, dry, and desperate for a way out as you used to be. Every time you share my truth, you become a pipeline for miracles. And my blessing never stops at a single person. It flows right through you and comes back twice as strong. You think sharing only helps someone else, but you are actually unlocking the floodgates over your own home. I love watching you give away what is mine, because when you release my word, you prove that you do not own the blessing. You are just flowing with it. My child, do not hesitate to take these small steps of faith. This is how belief speaks. These are the very first steps out of the ruins and onto the solid ground where you will rule as my heir. You have no idea how far your faith can reach, or how your bold confession might pull someone straight out of their deepest, darkest hole. You do not realize that the second you share this, someone standing on the cliff of despair is pulled back by your tiny act. Heaven does not need grand displays. Heaven is just looking for a heart willing to agree with my work. You are that heart. Bury this seed of faith deep in the raw soil of your soul. Let it take root. Let it grow into shelter. Let it prove that you no longer live by fear, but by raw, unshaken trust. The seed I give you isn't cheap, weak, or useless. It holds your coming harvest. Just protect it. Water it with my word and ignore the whispering doubts. Then a miracle will break through the very dirt you once thought was completely dead and barren. And I really want you to know this. Every step of faith you take brings you closer to your breakthrough, while it rushes toward you. We will meet that blessing right on my perfect schedule. Nothing I plant ever goes to waste. So stand your ground, keep the fire within you burning, and dare to speak what you actually believe. Share what you have been given, because in those ordinary, gritty moments, you are opening the floodgates for a brand new season to pour into your life. You are not alone. You have never been alone. And I, the one who calls you by your actual name, am standing right beside you to show you that the blessing is already moving. Just believe and walk in step with my voice. My child, when I watch your quiet, heavy steps in this season of fiery testing, and see how you still fight to keep your heart straight, even when the burdens feel like they will make you collapse, I have set something much deeper in motion. This is not just about saving you from the dark. I am rescuing your entire family line, redirecting your bloodline, and rewriting history for everyone who carries your last name. What I am doing was never meant for you alone, but for a generation waiting for someone raw and brave enough to stand up and break the chains that have bound your family for so many long years. I promise you, that turning point is much closer than you think. The light I am planting in your life will never stop with you. It will flood every room, every house, and every relative in your lineage. Like a tiny spring that grows to bring life to an entire dry summer field, I am paving the way to bring my glory straight into your home. The deep hidden wounds that always bled will become raw proof of my redemption. And when I step in, nobody can argue. I will make this shift so undeniable that even your worst enemies won't be able to deny it. No cheap slander will cover it up, and no toxic jealousy will ever put out the fire I have lit inside you. I saw the years your family endured the insults, the times others looked down on them, the ugly rumors that chipped away at the honor of your family line like water cracking open a solid stone. But I refuse to let that suffering be the final chapter. When I rise to act, I do not just patch up reputations. I lay a tougher, higher foundation. The exact things that once brought your family shame will soon be spoken of in a whole new way. They will turn into stories of wild miracles, rescue, and my raw power breaking through dead ends. People will look and say, "This is the Lord's doing." You won't have to struggle to prove a thing, because the transformation will speak for itself. The spiritual debts, the lost honor, and the heavy identity crisis your family has carried will be wiped away by my raw kindness. The empty cupboards that made your family bow their heads will be replaced with overflow. I am not just giving you enough to survive. I will provide so much that the very people who watched you struggle will be absolutely shocked by the turnaround. And my child, what I am bringing back is not just money or land. I am restoring your name, the name I held for you before you were born, the name they spat on, judged and buried under heavy prejudice. I will lift it high before angels and humans alike. I will make the skeptics wonder why such heavy grace has flooded your life. I do this not because you are perfect, but because I love you with a fierce, unchanging love. By honoring your name, I am vindicating my own, because when they see your life rebuilt from the ashes, they will have to look up and admit only God could do this. The ones who laughed at you will watch this turning point happen. The mockers will run out of things to say. Those who used to point fingers will stand there speechless. I will wrap you in a raw, beautiful redemption that no one can deny. When I touch your lineage, even the generational damage that has festered for decades will be undone, layer by layer. I am untying the heavy ropes that bound your family so long you actually started believing they were just part of life. You will be the first in your family to walk into real, raw freedom, with no dark shadows dragging you backward. And right behind you, your household will step into that same light, not because they earned it, but because of what I am doing through your life. So get your heart ready for a massive shift. You think you just need to prepare for a blessing, but I need you ready to be a living witness to my glory. Throw out human logic and raise your expectations. Walk with the raw faith that knows heaven is already moving, even when the ground beneath you is dead silent. Before I do something massive, I always let my people feel the tremors of it first. It starts as a quiet ache in their spirit, telling them to make space for the flood. You have felt it too, even if you can't describe it yet. I am pulling you out of tight, cramped spaces into wide, open ground. Not because you begged for greatness, but because my plans for you have always been massive from the start. Do not just prepare plans, documents, and logical steps. You need to expand the actual capacity of your faith, because the weight of the blessing I am putting in your hands demands way more room than you ever imagined. The doors I break open will require a tougher, bolder, more relentless heart. You simply cannot step into a new season carrying an old heart accustomed to doubt. I am stretching your soul to hold what I am doing. Like this video and subscribe to join our Raw Faith community. This hard preparation isn't to prove anything to me. It's so you won't break when I open doors you once thought you were unworthy to cross. When heaven finally moves, every wall humans built dissolves like thick smoke in a wild wind. You see a long shot. I see it finished with one breath. What you call impossible, I hold easily in the palm of my hand. You've played it safe for too long, paralyzed by fear. You forgot I part the seas. Like Ezekiel's dry bones, you will live, and iron prison doors will burst open. If my voice built the stars from nothing, can't I rewrite your story in a second? But I wait for the perfect, quiet moment. So this breakthrough doesn't just fix your current mess, but heals your heart, your future, and the bloodline of your entire family. Get ready for a different pace. A life no longer choked by anxiety, but guided by deep grit and trust. That crushing weight is lifting. No more shaking over overdue bills. No more hiding from the whispers of others. I am putting your broken name back together. When it's done, you will walk with a confidence that isn't manufactured. you'll know I hold heaven's power. A massive shift is already heading your way. I've deployed my angels like mechanics, laying out heavy tools. Rusting bolts are finally turning. The gears are moving. Cages are breaking open. Streams of income and supply that were choked off are breaking loose. Everything is stamped with your name, not because you earned it, but because I claimed you first. You are mine. This blessing won't stop running because it carries my signature, and I never do half measures. My work will be complete, loud, undeniable, and overflowing. I'm doing this so everyone sees I'm the God who restores, redeems, and makes changes that can never be undone. Keep your stride steady, and like Scripture says, fix your eyes on me. I've mapped out the rest. Child, I've tracked every hard step you took. I watched you stumble through the pitch black, shielding a tiny flickering flame from the wind. I know the sharp, painful turns of your road that nobody else saw. You've dragged weight so heavy, your ribs felt like they'd cave in. Yet because you didn't want to hurt anyone else, you wore a fake smile while your mind was screaming. You swallowed secrets that would have absolutely destroyed someone else's quiet world, even though you just wanted to scream and drop the act. During those sleepless nights, staring at the ceiling, I heard the words you choked back, swallowed down, because you refused to be a burden. In the middle of everything that should have broken you, you stood back up and held on to my promises. You thought my words had faded away like an old scratched record, but to me, those promises burn as bright as the day I put them in your chest. Every word I spoke over you still holds its weight. Years haven't smudged a single line of your story. I haven't forgotten one desperate prayer you whispered in the dark, and I certainly didn't miss the tears you wiped away in secret. Because you kept putting one foot forward when hope felt entirely dead, my eyes never left you. I am ready to pull you up when the timing is perfect. You have no idea what it took to get you here. I've been shifting things behind the scenes, bending random events to line up with your life. Sometimes I blocked your path, not to make you wander, but to save you from paths that would have absolutely broken your spirit. I pulled you back from opportunities that looked gold on the surface. People stare at a slammed door and think they failed or got rejected. But you didn't realize that failure was actually my rescue operation. If I let you slide in early, you would have drowned, losing the most valuable thing you have, your own soul. You had beautiful plans that seemed completely foolproof, but I saw the crash at the end. Without my hand stepping in, your heart would have been utterly crushed. I severed some connections myself. It hurt. But I knew staying would turn into heavy chains, stealing your path entirely. I blocked certain roads, not because you weren't good enough, but because what waited in the shadows would have broken you. It wasn't punishment. It was a fierce, protective love you'll only understand in hindsight. What you saw as wasted time and delay, I called alignment. I am not just patching up the edges of your life. I am tearing down and rebuilding the whole foundation. I'm tossing out what doesn't fit anymore, waiting for key people to grow up into their purpose, and setting up the connections you will need later. I'm shifting other people's paths so they collide with yours right on schedule. I am crafting breakthroughs you think you aren't ready for, but soon you'll see every thread knot together. It's a masterwork of design far beyond what any human mind could scheme. Your missed chances were actually stepping stones keeping you from slipping off a cliff. Even in the dark, I'll never let you fall into empty chaos. I'm cutting a path where there was only wilderness. You have walked a very long road through the testing and deep enough into the dark to recognize my voice when I'm silent. You have learned to stand without crutches. You trust me when everything looks completely broken. You keep dragging your feet forward even when the world tells you to quit. And right there in the dirt, I watched you grow in secret. This grit didn't just keep you close to my side, it brought you to the threshold of something massive. Now, as every quiet move I made slides into perfect position and the old seasons finally die, you will step into the destiny I carved for you. Like and subscribe now to build our faith community together. Every tear that hit your pillow mattered. Every desperate whisper in the dark was heard. Not a single rough mile you walked was for nothing. I am using every hard moment as raw material, shaping a path to the exact place I promised you. Trust me, you are about to see why nothing was ever late. It could only come when heaven was ready, and your own heart had grown strong enough to hold it. My child, deep in the unseen places, there is a promise carved in stone, waiting to break wild. And your name is written on it in ink that never fades. This is not some cheap, generic favor thrown to the crowd. It is a specific plan, handwritten just for you, through every single chapter of your life, tied to a rugged path only your feet can tread. It has been measured, tested, and stamped with divine approval. Heavenly forces are waiting on the edge of their seats, ready to move when your shoulders are strong enough to carry this weight. But while we prepare, dark currents have started pooling around you, silent forces trying to stall you, cage you, or drag you away from what is yours. They do not have the power to destroy you. They just know that if this gift dropped into your hands too, soon before your soul has been tempered, before you have learned to see beneath the surface and stand firm, then that beautiful gift could turn into a wildfire, blinding you and burning down the very life you have fought so hard to build. You often assumed I only wanted to fix your bank account, to throw you a few bone-dry opportunities, or pay you back for surviving those brutal, lonely years. But I see the whole horizon, the rocky road winding ahead, things hiding in your blind spots. I see the people who will smile to your face when you succeed, while harboring dark envy underneath. I know which friendly faces are secretly pulling away. I see the quiet resentment waiting for the perfect moment to choke your joy. I see the vultures waiting for you to stumble so they can grab your inheritance. In the raw light of truth, I see relationships that look like lifelines, but are actually baited traps. I see toxic deals that would tangle up your future if you walked into them blind. You see the immediate crisis, but I see the entire map. That is why I paused the harvest, to clear the wild weeds from your heart first. I had to dig deep, turning over the soil of your soul, to rip out the hidden toxins you could not see. If I gave you this weight before your feet were planted, the shadows would only need one tiny crack to turn my good gift into a trap. Do not think for a second that I do not trust you. This painful delay is actually my shield, keeping you safe until you are ready. But hear me now with a weight that shakes the ground beneath you. The wait is over. Your heart is soft enough now to hold a massive seed. Your spirit has been forged in fires that felt like dead ends, but were actually hard gifts, designed to build your grit in the dark. You know how to stand back up when crushed, and tell my whisper apart from the noise of chaos. You have learned to ignore cheap flattery, and watch out for users who only circle around you when they want something. You did not learn this from a book. You bought it with sweat and scars through the heavy trials I used to carve real depth into your soul. I watched you hold the line when nothing was moving. I saw you praise me when there were no miracles, choosing honor while everyone else took the easy way out. All that pain forged a heavy anchor inside you, a solid foundation where I can finally pour out my favor without crushing you. You are no longer begging for scraps. You are ready to manage an inheritance. Sudden abundance will not make you arrogant or reckless, because you know this breakthrough is not your own doing. It is a monument to my promise. You understand that what I give you is not to feed your pride, but to clear a path for the broken people around you, to heal the lives I want to touch through yours. The resources about to flood your life are not just to give you an easy ride, but so you can finally stand where I called you, acting as a pipeline for my grace, not a dead end for selfish ambition. Hear me clearly on this. This next step brings a level of influence you have never dreamed of. It will do far more than change your bank statement. It will stretch your soul and open massive new ways to impact this world. When the floodgates open, doors will swing wide that you never dared to touch. Unexpected doors will open in high places. Opportunities will rise that will make you realize I am not just improving your life. I am shifting your entire standing in both heaven and earth. But with this power, I will also show you the hidden truth. You will see the critical eyes that traps set in the dark, and the warm handshakes of people secretly trying to drag you off my path. I tell you this not to scare you, but to make you sharp. You are entering a season where your bright light will make the darkness lashing out. Never forget that having plenty is its own fierce test. People think hunger is the real danger, but wealth has ruined far more souls than poverty ever did. When you are starving, you cry out to me. When you are full, you start trusting your own hands. Pain drives you to prayer, but success can make you forget who built the foundation. But I have dragged you through the desert long enough to keep your heart soft in the green pastures. You now view my gifts not as property, but as a sacred trust. And since you have learned to keep these gifts in their proper place, I can give you more without worrying that you will wander off into the dark. Right now, I place my hand on your shoulder and declare that the time has come. No more waiting, no more blocked roads, and no more shadows allowed to touch the inheritance marked with my name. My messengers are in place, not with cheap tricks, but to lead you into the breakthrough I promised. If you believe, subscribe, and join our faith community here. Like this message, you are ready. You have dragged yourself through seasons that felt completely pointless, but every single one was laying a foundation, preparing you to stand strong under the weight of what I put in your hands today. From this moment on, as I open my hand to bless you, things are going to feel different. This is not a payback, it is an invitation to step up. You will not panic when doors swing open. You will not shake when your breakthrough finally arrives. No more hiding when greatness calls you to stand up. Inside you, I have forged a deep courage and sharp discernment, and a quiet wisdom to know who to walk with, who to keep at a distance, and who to hand over to me. This grit was not built overnight. I chiseled it into you in the dark, quiet places where no one else was looking, but I saw. And now as you step into what I have prepared for you, you will find yourself steady when the storm hits, completely unshaken by what people whisper or scream. You will see right through the hollow offers of this world. I am bringing you a financial breakthrough, but also the wisdom to hold on to it, so it never becomes a trap that pulls you away. I am opening doors, but also opening your eyes to see the true path I have for you and which ones are just illusions. I do this because I love you with the fierce heart of a father who knows every step you take, every single thought you carry, every heavy burden, and the silent hurts you never speak out loud. So listen closely, because I am speaking to you today with both gentle grace and absolute authority. Open your hands. You are about to receive what has belonged to you for a very long time, not because you earned it by this world's standards, but because I set it aside for you before the world was even made. Not because you finally begged enough, but because I saw you stay faithful when it hurt. Not because you are strong on your own, but because my power is made perfect in your weakness. Now is the moment to take what I am giving you. Do not shake. Do not hesitate. You will know exactly how to use this blessing as a tool I am placing in your hands. You will not walk around like someone begging for scraps. You are sent with a purpose. This is more than a blessing. It is a divine commission. This is not just an open door. It is a passing of the mantle. This is not just a new season, but the breakthrough you have been waiting for. Even during the nights you did not realize you were waiting. And I, the one who loves you with an unshakable love, tell you today, you are ready. The ground is clear. Your character has been tested in the fire. Deep roots have grown. You will know exactly what to do with what I give you, because you do not just have the gift, you have me. And I am more than enough for the road ahead of you, my child. When you quiet your mind and anchor your heart in gratitude, I start moving in ways your physical eyes cannot see. I have assigned a messenger of heaven specifically to guard your journey. And right now, that messenger is not standing still. It is moving forward, quietly, but with massive power. It is reaching into the hidden dry places you thought were dead and sealed forever. The dreams you forgot, I am breathing life back into them, shaking up the systems for you. It is stirring hearts, pulling your name out of the dusty files on the desks of decision makers. My messenger goes through doors you are not even allowed to walk through. It is reshaping decisions that people thought were locked in. It is dragging into the light the opportunities that others tried to hide from you. The unfair things you have carried in your heart for years were never hidden from my sight. I have gathered every tear and written a new decree. Give back to my child what is theirs. My messenger is executing that command right now, piece by piece, in ways you cannot even fathom. This goes far beyond mere paperwork and bureaucracy. My hand is shifting the minds of the people who hold the key to your money, your career, and your next big open door. The legal complications, the red tape, and the frustrating delays that stall you, or the random setbacks you think are just accidents, are actually under my sovereign control. I am completely rebuilding the systems that once treated you unfairly. I am changing the minds of those who rejected you, turning the tables on the ones who hold the power to say yes. I am whispering your name into the ears of the exact people who can change your entire life with a single stroke of a pen. This transition will not happen with a loud crash of thunder, but like a heavy door swinging open before your hand even touches the handle. You have bled in silence, but I am making sure everything you lost is repaid, not just in eternity, but right here in the physical world. There is money with your name on it that has been sitting dormant so long you have completely forgotten about it, but I have not forgotten. I saw you struggle, and I saw those long nights you spent worrying about lack. Every quiet prayer you thought I was far too busy to hear. I have saved every tear you cried, and today, those tears are the fuel for my messenger to act. Missing payments, canceled meetings, lost contracts, and the people who walked away owing you money, pretending they never knew you. I am bringing all of it back into the light. My messenger is going to shake their memories, put you on their hearts, and make them pay what is due, not by force, but by melting their stubborn minds. When I touch a heart, no one can resist. The people who looked down on you will now show you respect. Those who threw you aside will look at you with deep gratitude, and those who forgot you will speak of your name as a reminder of the grace I put on your life. This is how I work. My blessings do not just drop out of the sky. They flow through flesh and blood, through everyday people and unexpected moments, through your daily struggles, showing you that my hand is never distant. I am actively working in the details of your life. What is settled in heaven will pour out as real blessings. Like and subscribe now to join our online faith community. Provisions that anchor your feet and new paths that open your next chapter. When they arrive, you won't ask, "Why me?" Because you'll finally see that I've mapped out every step. I'm not just handing over what was kept from you. I am strengthening your heart so you don't shake when you step into this abundance. I am opening your eyes to see the hidden traps before you walk right into them. I give you the instinct to spot fake intentions and the wisdom to handle every single gift I send your way. And I am filling you with a deep peace only my children can feel. You will sleep soundly through the heaviest storms, knowing that nothing on earth can touch what I have already set aside for you. My child, real wealth isn't the number in your bank account. It is knowing deep down that everything you hold comes straight from my hand. And since it comes from me, no one can ever steal it. Once you truly understand this, you will walk like someone who is fully shielded, no longer panicking, scrambling, or fearing defeat. You'll shut out the lies, saying your future depends on others. You will stand tall, knowing that when I open a door, no force on earth can shut it. When I release a blessing, nothing can block it. I don't just hand you gifts, I shape your heart to hold them. I am not just taking you into a new season. I am building a foundation so deep that no storm can pull you away from me. You will see that I am not just rebuilding what you lost. I am positioning you to face the future with total confidence. You won't fear running out because you know your source never dries up. You won't fear betrayal because I am the one guarding your back. You won't fear falling because you know that when my hand lifts you up, no one can drag you down. Your steps in the days ahead will no longer be hesitant, but bold strides of someone who knows my angels are going ahead to clear the path and guard what is yours. And very soon, when you look back, you will break down in tears, not from pain, but because you'll realize I have been working in the details all along. No season of waiting was ever meaningless. I haven't ignored a single sacrifice. Every time you stayed faithful when nobody was watching, I wrote it down. You won't just see the gift, you'll see me in everything you receive. That's the real treasure, because while gifts change your circumstances, it is I who rewrites your destiny. My child, open your heart. The days ahead are not for fear. They are for fulfillment. Locked doors are swinging wide open. Dusty files are being pulled into the light. Names that were once crossed off are being written back in. Unseen promises are turning into real physical things. Stand firm, believe, and take it. What I am doing for you cannot be stopped. As you step into this abundance, you will know that my love for you has never flinched, not even for a single second. You'll enter this new season with a clean heart, stripped of all illusions, completely free from the lie that you are the source of your own miracles. I am washing away that quiet pride from your past small wins as I lead you into true abundance. You won't look back and see mere luck or coincidence. You won't credit your own strength or smarts either. Your spirit, after so many months and years of being shaped by my silence and what felt like endless waiting, will finally be sensitive enough to notice my movement in the smallest details. You will see clearly that every open door was my doing. Every single person you meet was woven into the plan I put together long ago. Every stream of support that flows to you isn't there for you to brag about, but for you to realize I am keeping the promises that fell quiet so long ago. In this new chapter, you will learn to walk with reverence, letting my voice guide your steps instead of raw emotion or impatience. You will use success to lift others up, not as a pedestal to show off. Your heart is going to mature in ways you never thought possible. Because the gifts I have for you go far beyond physical things. They reach straight into the dark corners of your soul, into those quiet places you thought would never see light again. I am not just mining up some cash for you. This is my declaration that I see you, I remember you, and I hear every single whisper you have breathed in the dark. I hold those words like tears in my hand. You'll see that this breakthrough carries the distinct imprint of your own journey. It is marked by every fall you survived, every unvoiced fear, and all those heavy mornings you forced yourself to get up and work when you felt completely hollow inside. This miracle was built on grit, stamina, and quiet faith, on those invisible battles you fought when no one else was close enough to see your bone-deep exhaustion. As you realize this, you'll hold success with a quiet, mature gratitude, without showing off or comparing your life to anyone else. You'll know this isn't a prize for perfection, but proof that I have watched your entire life with absolute love. So listen closely, gently, but with firm resolve. Don't let go of your faith right as you hit the biggest turning point of your life. You have come way too far to turn back. You have survived too much to quit now. I know you are exhausted, so tired that some days you can't even pray, carrying a chest that feels like it is weighed down with heavy stone, so worn out that you can't tell my work apart from your fears. But because you have stood firm through the worst of it, I am here to tell you there is only a little way left. If you stop now, you will miss the moment I designed to pull you out. Remember, your absolute weakest moment isn't a sign that you are losing. It is often the signal that the breakthrough is right around the corner, like a soft breath right against your skin that you haven't felt yet. All these years, through the heavy storms of your soul, I've been right there, closer than you ever realized. Even when you felt completely abandoned, that was when I held you closest, shielding you from things too heavy for your shoulders. You have no idea how many nights I quieted your mind just to keep you from falling apart. How many times I held your family together. How many times I warded off sickness before it could even touch you. How many traps I cleared from your path so you wouldn't lose your way. You really thought you were pulling through all on your own, but honestly, I carried you through those dry, empty seasons. I kept your soul soft when the world tried to make you hard. I kept your heart from turning bitter. I watched over your home when you were completely drained. You and I didn't arrive at these words today by accident or some cheap coincidence. It was designed to breathe life back into a hope that is almost dried up. I know these past few days have felt like a dead end. Debts piling up, doors slamming, opportunities slipping right away. People misjudging you, your strength completely spent. You looked ahead and saw nothing but heavy darkness. You even wondered if I still cared about your pain. But listen to me now. Your story doesn't end here. It doesn't end in poverty. It doesn't end in this endless struggle. It doesn't end at the doors that slammed in your face. This pain is just a chapter, not the whole book. I am still writing your story. Listen closely to your heart. I won't let your life dissolve into misery. I didn't design you to end in loss and defeat. I didn't pull you through years of fire just to leave you now. Every single ache has purpose. I remember every tear you've shed, and those quiet, desperate prayers you thought fell on deaf ears, they touched me. You can't see the movement yet because it is happening in the dark, like roots digging deep into the dirt before the green shoot breaks the surface. Trust me, new life is breaking through. Things are shifting and a whole new page is turning. You won't have to survive day to day on anxious nerves anymore. you can rest knowing I've got your future secured. One day you will tell this story not like a victim, but like someone who was pulled straight out of the depths. You will stand in a place so beautiful you don't even dare dream of it now. You'll look back and say, if it hadn't been for the Lord, I wouldn't be standing here today. You'll see that the waiting wasn't wasted. Every hard month of holding on will become your badge of honor, proof that you didn't quit when walking away would have been the easiest thing in the world. And when that new chapter finally begins, you'll see that everything had a reason. A plan that doesn't just shake up your present, but completely rewrites the future for your kids and theirs. The breakthrough won't stop with you. It will overflow, transforming the mindsets, the habits, and the very spirit of your family for generations to come. Just like the ancient promise to Abraham poured down directly to his children, the blessing marked for your life won't stop with you. It will shatter the generational cycle of poverty, silence every accusing voice, and push back your limits, rebuilding what was broken decades ago. Right now, let's focus on one thing. Hold on to me a little longer. Stop staring at how tired you are. Lean into my strength instead. Don't stare at the door that just shut. Watch my hand, because it's already turning the key. Stop looking at what's missing and look at my endless supply. I promised it to you. You are not going to fold under this pressure. You will stand tall, knowing exactly who your Father is, who owns your future, and who holds your story from start to finish. Let me tell you one last thing. What I started in you, I will finish. Now the single promise I made will fall to the ground empty. Just keep walking, keep believing, keep that heart open. Because your final chapter isn't going to be about tears or struggle. It won't be debt or despair. Your final chapter is redemption, restoration, and fullness. That's exactly where I'm leading you. The day is coming when everything I've done in secret will burst into the light right in front of you. A raw, undeniable proof of my faithfulness. All those days you pushed through the pain, the tears you thought went unnoticed, those heavy moments you wanted to quit but chose to stand because you still trusted the seed of hope I gave you. All of this will be written down as a living testimony, proving that God's word never fails. You used to think your story was so small, but that exact story will be a beacon for people stumbling in the dark, showing them that the one they call on never lets them down. And if your heart is stirring right now, like a warm breeze blowing through your soul, don't write it off as just a feeling. It's my hand touching the deepest part of who you are. So open your heart and take it in. Use your own voice to claim what I'm speaking over you. Because declaring your faith isn't just noise, it's raw power, shifting your world. When you say, I receive it, my name is honored. The provision you've been begging for is finally on its way. Right now, heaven is completely quiet, listening, and my angels are already moving to answer you. Because real faith is what moves heaven. And when you, my child, dare to step out and show that belief, even with a simple step like dropping a comment below or sending this message to a friend drowning in despair, you and I are partnering in ways you can't even imagine. Every time you speak your faith, instead of burying it, you're sounding an alarm in the spiritual world. You are declaring that you are done living in fear, shame, and silence, and stepping directly into the inheritance I have personally set aside for you. After all, faith you never express is like a seed left in a jar. It has value, but it'll never grow. When you stand up and say you belong to me, you're planting a seed deep in eternity. That seed won't just grow in your backyard. It's going to bloom in the lives of strangers you will never even meet. You don't see it yet, but one tiny thing you do today could rescue the faith of someone crying out to me in absolute loneliness. I love watching you become a conduit for my truth. When you let my grace flow through you, I find every reason to pour out even more. Do you see that? There are gifts with your name on them that have been locked away for years. It wasn't because I held back. Your heart just wasn't ready to carry the weight of them yet. I won't hand a heavy inheritance to a fragile heart or a spirit still crushed by shame. But today, everything changes. I see something waking up deep inside you, a fresh breath in your faith, the first real light of understanding breaking through. This moment is my cue to finally hand you the keys I've been holding on to. And believe me, these aren't just cold, lifeless pieces of metal. They represent raw authority, the power to open doors that once shut you out and to walk right into places that used to reject you. The power to sign your name on deals you once only watched from afar. I'm handing you the keys to revive dead projects and to clear the debts that kept you paralyzed, to rebuild broken relationships and reclaim opportunities that seemed to slip right into someone else's hands. I'm releasing resources you didn't even know I saved for you. Listen, those things didn't vanish. They were just waiting in the shadows for the exact moment I decided to call them forward. Locked bank accounts stalled, contracts buried, opportunities and visions that went completely silent. They are all waking up as heaven moves today. People who wrote you off are going to feel a sudden pull to remember your name. The very doors that shut you out will start looking for you. The skeptics will realize you hold the exact key they desperately need. When I move, things don't follow human logic anymore. Everything shifts to the rhythm of my kingdom, and you are going to see my hand in it. The reality will blow past your wildest calculations, but it will never outrun my promise to you. Understand this. I didn't just start building this blessing yesterday. It has been waiting for you since before your first breath. I was just waiting for your heart to finally align with mine so I could unleash it. Your posture, your humility, your quiet gratitude. They clear the path for the floodgates to open. You used to trust me, but doubt yourself. That quiet insecurity was like a dam holding back the full force of what I wanted to pour into your life. But today, you're grounded. There's a new grit in your spirit and a deeper bond between us, standing on solid ground you've never reached before. I see your heart opening up, and when you open up, heaven cracks wide open too. Reach out your hand. I'm not just giving you what you ask for. I'm handing you what I designed for you before time began. My love for you is absolute. And I want you to step into a season where my mark is on everything you touch. The delays weren't because I was holding out on you, but because I was shielding you from battles you couldn't fight yet. Now your heart has grown. You look for me before you look for success. There is no reason left to hold back what is yours. Get ready. The shifts happening around you right now are going to leave you speechless. Every dry creek will run wild with water. Every dead field will bloom. The doors that were locked tight will swing open all on their own, because I've rewritten your name with my own hand. Trust me on this. Every dream that was shelved or hidden away was just waiting for the right moment. Now I'm bringing it all to light. Lost resources are returning. Broken connections are healing. Opportunities that slipped to others will find their way back to the right person at the right time. I am not just restoring your life. I'm multiplying it. I won't just replace what you lost. I will add to it. I don't do this so you can brag about your wealth. I do this so you can look at my work and know without a doubt that it all comes from pure kindness. Once you grasp that truth, nobody can rob you of this abundant season. Soon, you are going to share this wild journey with others, not with the tired voice of a victim who barely survived, but with the raw power of someone who has been set free. Your story will become a battle cry of faith for the exhausted, proving that I am still moving. You'll face the things that once terrified you, look them in the eye and smile, knowing I walk with you. You'll watch the impossible happen right in front of you, and you will never doubt that I was the one who pulled you out of that dark place. When you finally see my light shining clearly over your life, you'll understand why I let you walk through every single hard season. The long days of waiting, the endless searching, and the brutal process of shaping, the intense preparation. All of it was so you could actually carry the blessing without dropping it. Grace isn't a prize for perfect people. It is a gift for those who simply let me lead. You let me lead. You let me rawly refine you and correct your path. Because of that surrender, you are ready to step into the season you've waited for. So stand up. Take hold of what I am speaking over you right now. I am launching a heavy wave of deliverance and restoration over your life. A wave of real prosperity that carries eternal weight. What was locked is opening. What was stolen is coming back. What died is breathing again. Everything that has your name on it is being handed back to you. No shadow, no delay, and no darkness can hold back what I have destined for you. The hour has come, my child. I am pulling back the curtain on everything I have been doing behind the scenes. You will see that the breakthrough you've been praying for won't arrive on the tired, familiar paths you expect, nor will it show up where you've always looked. It will break through from the most unlikely, unexpected places you could ever imagine. I have shifted the path, turned the tides, melted frozen hearts, and forced the people who forgot you to remember. People who once passed by like strangers are turning back because of a deep urge they cannot explain, a pulling that comes from me alone. Once cold and indifferent hands will suddenly turn warm. Business owners who brushed past your name like a worthless number will feel an unshakable urge to stop and find ways to support you, to hand you fresh opportunities and open locked doors. This is not a random change of heart, but because I shook their very spirit, so they cannot ignore you anymore. Even massive institutions you thought were completely out of reach, the sterile offices that drained you with endless red tape, the exact gatekeepers who hold the power to approve or reject your life, will bend in a way only heaven can orchestrate. My sovereign throne has issued a heavy decree, and no earthly system can resist it. Your name, once shoved aside and forgotten, is being sealed by my own word. And when I set my seal, no force in heaven, on earth, or in the deepest dark can wash away what I wrote over your life in everlasting covenant blood. Haven't you felt like you were standing right on the edge of greatness, but every time your fingers almost touched it, some unseen shadow dragged the victory away at the very last second? I know you have asked me in the dark, why? When you poured out your soul, corrected your steps, worked hard and prayed, why did the doors still slam shut? You assumed you failed, but you are fighting a war your eyes cannot see. It has absolutely nothing to do with you being inadequate. It is not because of a weak faith, though you beat yourself up daily. It is because the blessing I am putting in your hands is so massive that it sends heavy shock waves through the spiritual realm. The enemy is frantically throwing up roadblocks to delay you, hoping to break your spirit right before the finish line. My child, what is coming is no simple financial fix. This is a total jailbreak from every generational limitation that has bound your family tree. A shattering of the legal accusations that have haunted your bloodline for ages. I am not just filling your wallet. I am clawing back the dignity of your entire family. It is something no one dared to pray for, but I saw your silent agony. There are rightful assets belonging to you, currently locked in someone else's vault. The exact blessings I designed for you are being used by people who mock my ways. Gifts, methods for your household were stolen and handed to those outside my family. But right now, I am reopening the spiritual court files of heaven, rewriting the crooked ledgers, and pulling every blessing back to the one who carries my seal. I am shifting the currents, swapping positions, taking back what was stolen, reclaiming what was lost, and breathing life into promises you thought had gone cold and silent years ago. Every single thing you are about to receive is more than just hard-won fruit. It is a loud, undeniable announcement that your time in the shadow of family failures is over. It is time to rip off the cheap labels people stuck on your back and step off the broken path a counterfeit destiny tried to force you onto. Every setback and delay had a deep purpose. They were active signs of heavy warfare in the spiritual realm. Proof that I am not just patching up the leaks in your life, but pouring a massive concrete foundation for your entire future. Hear me clearly, you are not walking into this fight with only your tired, calloused hands. You have a massive heavenly force driving you forward. Unseen hands you never knew are being used by me to clear the road, untangle the knots, and connect parts of your life that once seemed completely dead. The breakthrough will come from an angle you never expected. So your blessings are not boxed in by your old logic. Mark this down. When I decree a transfer, nothing can stop it. If I am for you, who can stand against you? When I speak, the enemy must retreat. Once I call your name, what is yours cannot remain in their hands. You will watch this unfold with your own eyes. The assets that slipped through your fingers will return, rebuilt, and far stronger. I am restoring the years the locusts have eaten, just as my word promises in Joel. Every lost opportunity is returning, and ancestral blessings are flowing back on a current I designed. This is no minor tweak, my child. This is a massive shift in the spiritual realm, and all of heaven is standing in agreement. Every cold night you spent in bitter lack was just the prelude to a legacy your kids will talk about. So stop staring at the doors that slammed shut. Stop burning your energy on the people who turned their backs on you. Forget about the delayed dreams. Open your soul wide to receive what I am bringing, because it will look absolutely nothing like your past. This is raw vindication. This is restoration. This is solid proof that you are not just a survivor scraping by. You are a royal heir. And what I am doing next goes even deeper than what you just heard. I am not stopping at simply giving back the things that were stolen from your hands. I want to surprise you with blessings you never dared to pray for. I am not like the fragile people who walked out on you. I do not forget. I do not lose focus. I am the sovereign Lord who stares straight into the hidden, raw depths of your soul, watching every secret tear fall in the dark. I saw every bitter pill of humiliation you swallowed. I heard the dirty gossip whispered behind your back. I recorded it all, not to judge you, but to build an airtight case for the massive restoration I am launching in your life. I have never just looked at the surface. I read your inner motives. I heard every heavy sigh in the midnight silence, and saw you keep your integrity intact when they treated you like dirt. I saw you hold your tongue when you had the power to retaliate. I watched you trust my voice when the cold, hard facts said you were finished. I remember every small act of loyalty, every quiet, painful choice to remain pure while everyone around you took the easy way out. Every time you turned down dirty money when your bills were piling up. To the rest of the world, those choices made you look like a complete fool. But to me, they are hidden jewels. Like and subscribe to our faith community and watch them shine at my appointed time. I might move others to speak up for you, to pull you out of the fire and rebuild you today. Not because you have it all together, or because you are flawless, but because I am fiercely loyal to my word and the covenant I carved over your life. I am standing up to defend you, not because you got everything right, but because I am the God who never breaks a promise. I have never let a single covenant turn to dust, because they dragged your name through the dirt, because they whispered it with a mocking laugh, because where you deserved honor, they cut you down instead. Today, for the sake of true justice, I am turning the tables. I am gathering every shattered piece of honor dropped along your path. I collect the fragments from when you were lied about, falsely accused, and deeply misjudged, fitting them back together into something so beautiful it will leave you breathless. I am stepping into the shadows where you cannot go, the quiet whispers behind your back, the closed doors where your name was ignored, those quiet rejections you chalked up to bad timing or poor fit. They were actually battlegrounds, a war between light and shadow over your very future. I am laying my hand on those broken places. I am rewriting the verdicts and throwing out every decision made without me. I am tearing down the labels that locked you in a cage, because I deeply, fiercely love who you are. And because I cannot ignore your quiet cries, I am taking back what was stolen. The money you were cheated out of, the open doors you were pushed away from, the connections that should have blossomed but were broken, the sweat and tears you poured out while others stole the spotlight. I saw every single injustice. I do not always step in the exact second it happens. I respect the painful process, but I have never once looked away. Today I am rewriting your financial story, not with fading human ink, but with my own hand. It is time to turn the page. You will no longer be defined by past wreckage, heavy debts, or old mistakes, but by the grace and fresh ground I am clearing for you. I am silencing those silent whispers that said, "This is as far as you go. You are not worthy to stand. You will never make it." I annul the silent spiritual sentences hung over your life that tried to lock you in place. Sentences you never heard, but felt deep in your bones every time you tried to climb and were dragged right back down. You often ask why you had to carry such heavy, crushing weights when you were so young. Why doors slammed shut before you even had a chance. Chances vanished. The grown-ups did not believe you, and your heart was broken way too early. You thought, this is just my bad luck, my broken life. But the darkness had already caught the scent of an uncommon destiny. It could see my fingerprints all over your future. It knew that if you actually walked the path I laid out, you would shake the world around you. You would become a living testament, proof that I can drag someone from the darkest pit and set them on a mountaintop. The enemy saw that early. It attacked you when you were still small and vulnerable, before you knew how to guard your heart, or tell my whisper apart from the enemy's lies. Those slammed doors at the start of your journey were no accident. They were targeted attacks designed to break you, to make you believe I was not enough, and scare you from ever knocking on another door, to force you to shrink back and settle for a cheap imitation of the life I built for you. That is exactly why your work has felt like an endless war. A safe job turned into a pressure cooker. A healthy workplace became a bloody battlefield overnight. The soil where you were supposed to grow became the place that slowly suffocated you. The place where you poured out your soul became the place that cut you the deepest. Every single time they crossed your name off the list. The hard work stolen from your hands at the final second. The broken promises of partnerships. The times you took the fall for mistakes you never made. None of this was just human drama. They were poison arrows aimed straight at who I made you to be, trying to make you taste humiliation and mockery. Hearing them call you worthless, a failure, someone who cannot be trusted. The enemy wanted you to believe those lies. It wanted you to look in the mirror and see a broken failure, so that you would throw in the towel, quit, and never dare to approach me with confidence. You have survived wave after wave of slander and twisted whispers, the poison spoken behind your back that reached you, warped and ugly. It was all a calculated play to shatter your spine, to make you forget who you are in me. But my child, through all that screaming chaos, I never left. When the world turned its back, I still understood. When nobody else believed in you, I did. While they judged you based on one ugly moment, I saw the entire story. From the moment I breathed life into you until today, even when you hung your head, thinking it was over, I saw a chapter you had not yet read. When you swore everything was gone, I was still holding your most precious pieces in my hands, safe where no demon could touch them. Right now, I'm not just giving you cheap comfort. I am stepping in to restore your honor, especially your dry and broken finances, the exact spot where you carried the heaviest shame and felt so worthless around others. I am not going to do this in secret either. It will happen out in the open. So the same people who watched you fall will have to watch me lift you back up. I will make things happen. Miracles, disguised as ordinary events, quietly slipping into your home, your life, and your job. You will start seeing wild coincidences pop up out of nowhere. An unexpected call from someone who seemed long gone. A dead, forgotten opportunity suddenly breathing with brand new life. That old dead debt you wrote off, resolved. A dusty, forgotten file pulled from the bottom of the stack, processed to favor you. You will watch the heavens open, not with a loud theatrical blast, but in quiet, gritty, everyday details. A sudden reply to an email after months of dead silence. A major contract blooming from a casual handshake. A side gig turning into solid, steady rent money. That spark of an idea I dropped into your chest, suddenly breathing real life. None of this is just cheap luck, and it is definitely not the universe manifesting it. It is my calloused hand moving for you. A name they thought they crossed off the list. A name buried at the bottom of the paper. A name skipped over in high-floor boardrooms. I am bringing that exact name back. I will write you back into the script, forcing them to see that I have personally signed your name. I am the Lord who honors your name. When I choose to lift you up, no earthly force can drag you back down. So do not look at those dry, empty years as wasted time. I am pouring the concrete of your recovery on those exact painful years. What felt like a total loss is actually your runway for takeoff. Those old scars will teach you to spot a real breakthrough from a sweet, toxic trap. And your past rejections will make you fiercely guard the true people standing with you now. I will use that crushing ache to build deep empathy, so when you are elevated, you won't look down on anyone still scraping by in the dirt. Hear me on this. I am working. I started this and I do not do halfway. I am writing a finish line so clear that when you look back, you will have to say, if God hadn't stepped in, I'd still be broken. My child, I am the author who commands the clock and weaves your messy reality with fierce, unwavering love. I need you to understand that my hand never left your shoulder, not even for a second. The chaotic twists you thought were just random bad luck, those exhausting, pointless cycles that felt completely and utterly useless, they are coming together into a masterpiece only my eyes can see. I saw you drag yourself back up after falling. I watched you stare at the ceiling, choked by money stress, swallowing your tears just to keep believing. You think those quiet battles don't matter, but they are heavy, sacred stones stacked on my altar. They are proof of a broken heart choosing hope when the crushing weight keeps pressing down. Burn this truth deep into your mind and never let it go. No step you take is aimless. I catch every single drop of your sweat. Not a single quiet prayer of yours evaporates into empty air. I, the architect of the stars, have held your fragile life since before time. When you dragged yourself forward on those bone-dry days, I tracked every wobble like a father watching his kid learn to walk on jagged rocks. I wasn't just spectating. I was holding you upright. I mended the fractures inside your soul that nobody else could see. I know you felt like your endless waiting was yielding zero results, like your tiny steps couldn't budge heavy iron gates. But listen, no step is small when taken in faith. I don't need giant leaps from you. Just make them real. A shaking, trembling step is worth far more than a proud stride. Moving forward through hot tears is true strength. Those clumsy steps are inked in my book, proof that you refuse to quit. I watched you throw your entire weight into remaining faithful. Every dollar you gave when bills were piling up on the table. Every quiet kindness you shared while your own cupboards were bare. You have no idea what that costs. Hear this. What you plant out of desperate hunger carries 10 times more weight than giving from overflowing pockets. Giving away your last slice of bread is a consecrated seed. It shatters the generational grip of poverty and breaks the ancient chokehold of lack, lifting the darkness hanging over your family line. I preserved those seeds like a quiet gardener, locking away rare heritage seeds in a vault, waiting for the perfect spring to break. I am telling you now, the drought is over. Your financial relief isn't some last-minute backup plan. I mapped this out before you even took your first breath, signing it in permanent heavenly ink that time can never scratch away. No backstabbing can ruin. No petty human drama can block what I built for you. I will not leave your rescue dangling halfway in the dark. I finish what I start when the clock strikes the hour. And when that moment lands, absolutely nothing can stand in my way. Every heavy word that haunted your family and made you feel worthless is about to vaporize when I turn the floodlights on. You will finally see that the scripture, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" is a hard shield, not just a cozy phrase. Nobody can ruin, steal, or edit what I have locked in for you. I never write your storyline in pencil. It is carved in solid stone. You panicked, thinking you missed your shot, lagging behind in the dark. But listen, my schedule has nothing to do with human clocks. Men count calendars. I count readiness and deep purpose. And when I say go, the entire kingdom moves to get it done. The gray clouds of poverty are breaking. The dark ceiling over you is splitting open like a heavy stage curtain, revealing what I built behind the scenes. You are crossing the threshold into a clean cycle, a new heartbeat, a clear perspective. I am leading you out of the old rut. No more scraping by on survival mode. You are getting real peace, solid ground, and a future only I can build. But hear me closely on this. How you handle this next step determines if the flow continues. When the blessing overflows, never forget who opened the tap. When your bank accounts swell, and those contracts finally close, and those big money doors swing open, keep your heart soft. Most people don't crash before the breakthrough. They fail right after, thinking they built it themselves. The dark times aren't just trying to break your bank account. They're coming for your gratitude. Because once you stop being thankful, the sky above you turns to brass. Thankfulness isn't just a warm feeling. It's a heavy-duty key that locks the door open. It's a real force, a quiet engine that keeps the rhythm of daily bread moving in your life. If you stay thankful, your well won't run dry. Your household will always have a deep spring to draw from. A thankful family tree becomes a river, carving out hope for your kids and their kids. Do you see it now? I'm not just fixing your bank balance here. I am shifting your entire way of surviving, building a life rooted in pure grace, not in your own endless hustle. I want the absolute best for you, my child. And that isn't a mountain of cash. It's a heartbeat that syncs up perfectly with mine in the quiet. If you stay close to me, every gift I give you stays safe. But if you wander off, even the most beautiful blessing starts to feel like a heavy stone on your chest. I don't want you carrying heavy loads. I want you carrying life. I want my goodness to flow through you like a river, not weigh you down like wet cement. So protect that thankful spirit. As long as you stay grateful, the sky stays open, and my hand remains reaching out to you. When you thank me, my unseen messengers keep working on your behalf. Walk into this new chapter with open palms and a soft heart. Look, I'm not just handing you gifts. I'm changing the way you see the world, so you can handle what's coming. Everything is about to shift. You'll find a new rhythm completely unlike the old struggles. The way I show up will leave you breathless daily. And you'll look back and realize it started with one thing: being grateful. As you walk into this new space I've spent years preparing, get ready. What I'm putting in your hands isn't just external repair. It's something much deeper. It is a massive upgrade to your inner strength. That is why I've been training you to handle the little details of life. Those small struggles aren't meant to break you. They're carving away the rough edges to make you resilient, solid, and humble. Doing the right thing when nobody's watching in the mundane moments is how you pour the concrete foundation for the massive weight of what's next. True growth begins with trust in the small. When you value the little, you clear a path for me to trust you with more. I want to give you real influence, not just easy gifts so you can lead. You'll stand strong, bringing light into dark alleys others are too afraid to touch. So protect your life, your talents, and your breakthroughs with real respect. True respect isn't shaking in fear. It's just looking at your life and knowing every single breath and dollar comes directly from my hand. When you put me first, your gifts don't spoil or rot. It brings me so much joy to see you share your life rather than hoard it. You are learning to give wisely, telling the difference between genuine compassion and sudden impulse. I want you to be a true giver. You won't be driven by brief emotions, but guided by my spirit. Giving isn't always love, and receiving isn't always a blessing. But when you give with a heart I have trained, whatever you plant will bring life to others and open up new horizons for you. When you offer something up, build a quiet altar inside your soul. Don't build it with stone or wood, but with deep thankfulness. Bring back to me the very things I first placed into your palms. When you lay those things at my feet, they mark your life as holy. They become the exact spots where I pour out my protection and strength. You have no idea how many times I shielded you from ruin just because you gave with a pure heart. Every time you hand back what I gave you, it sounds in heaven like a loud declaration. It says, you don't belong to fear or scarcity, but to a spring that can never run dry. You survived dry deserts that nobody else ever saw. Now, I want you to be a beacon of comfort to those stepping in your old, painful footprints. You get their confusion. You know their silent agony. You remember those sleepless nights. They're too scared to pray aloud because hope feels miles away. When you extend your hand, you'll be giving them the deep empathy I built inside you during your own struggles. This isn't cheap pity. It's real understanding. You aren't looking down on them like a hero, but reaching out as someone who was once pulled from the same mud. That's what makes you different. I designed you to be a moving river, not a stagnant pool. You don't hoard life. You pour it out. A closed bucket eventually goes stale, but a pipe stays clean the more water rushes through. The more you give, the more I give you. It is the simple math of my kingdom. Plant generously, and you will harvest a bounty. Give with genuine love, and you will be rich in what actually matters. Never fear losing ground when you give. Your support doesn't come from human hands, anyway. It comes from me. I know exactly why you've been waiting so long for this breakthrough. It was never just about you. Your heart is bigger than you realize. You're thinking of your kids, of a safe roof to put over their heads, of your partner who stood by you in the freezing rain, of the parents who carried you when you couldn't walk. You're thinking of the few who spoke hope when you needed it. You aren't asking for help just to hoard it. You want to pay back kindness and bring back dignity to your family. You want to secure your children's future and bring hope to those depending on you. I see your true motives, and they move me. You aren't looking for luxury. You just want enough to protect what I have given you. You don't want applause. You just want real peace, so nobody under your roof has to sleep with a racing heart. You don't care about the flash or the spotlight. You just want an honest, generous, lightweight life. I've been watching those quiet desires grow inside you for years. I know that when I place this breakthrough in your hands, you won't use it to show off or hurt others. You'll use it to build, to mend, and to heal. I saw you on those nights when you felt completely left behind. Yet even when the ground seemed to fall out from under you, you gripped my promises like a lifeline. You kept your hands clean, your heart soft, your words honest. Not many people hold on to that kind of integrity when life beats them black and blue. But you walked right through the fire and never let bitterness poison your soul. You braved the deep waters and did not drown. When I stayed silent, you did not turn away. I hold this close, seeing someone stand firm, even when every hope they held seemed to slip away. That is how I know I can trust you with bigger things without pride sweeping you away. I watched your quiet loyalty in the dark. None of those hard years were wasted. You came out of that desert with a deeply humbled heart. You're not asking for a breakthrough just to show off, but to carry others. You do not chase money for cheap applause, but to pull your family out of the heavy mud of these long years. That is why I am opening this door. Not because you are flawless, but because you let me mold you. Not because you have it all figured out, but because you leaned on me. Not because the world calls you worthy, but because heaven has already marked you as loved. I know that whatever I give you next won't turn into a cage. You have been through the fire long enough to know that true abundance is meant to liberate, not to chain. I trust you because your heart stayed soft in the heat. You survived the storms with your eyes fixed on me. I do not see selfish ambition in you. Just a quiet readiness. No hunger for fame, just a deep desire to rebuild what was lost. No love for showing off, just a quiet dream of a peaceful life. That is why I am moving now to open these doors. This isn't some small favor. It is a total shift in the tide, a clean slate, a brand new season of freedom. So you can go and free everyone else around you. Now that the noise is faded and your heart is wide open, draw close to me, bring me your whole, aching soul, and lay down the quiet prayers you have carried alone. God, you see the things no one else can see in the dark. I come to you completely exhausted, desperately searching for a fresh wind from heaven. Lay your hand on my life and touch every single wound left behind by empty pockets, unpaid debts, crushing letdowns. and those quiet voices telling me I'll never be enough. Shatter the chains passed down through my family, every lie and limitation that has tried to define who I am. Tear open the skies and let me walk into the life you designed for me before I was even born. Show me where to walk. Give me the wisdom to handle this new chapter well, and keep me humble so I never forget where my help came from. My Father, I'm running straight to you, like a child running into their parents' arms the second the storm finally clears. You know the sleepless nights I have spent worrying about money, my job, my family, and my dignity. I am putting it all on the table now and asking you to take over every detail. Lead me into a place of true abundance that does not distract me from you, but brings me closer. Clear away the fog that stops me from seeing where I am supposed to go. Pull me out of this cramped space and open the path for me to walk right into what you built for me. When the breakthrough finally comes, keep my heart soft so I do not forget you. Thank you for holding me up when my knees were shaking and I thought I was done. I know that every good break, every ounce of light in my life comes from you. You are the only one who carves a path when I am completely out of strength. You light the match when everything around me goes black. Thank you for not keeping a record of my failures, but choosing to measure me by your love. You saw me at my absolute worst and still called me your own. I hope I never lose this gratitude. Thank you for working behind the scenes on things I cannot even begin to see yet. Thank you for slamming doors to protect me and for opening the right ones when I was finally ready. I know any good thing heading my way isn't because I earned it, but because your grace is just that deep. Thank you for guiding me with such quiet wisdom, especially when I cannot make sense of the road we are on. Thank you for never leaving my side, not even for a second. I pray this in the name of Jesus. Amen. If this hit home, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Let's build this community together. You are not walking this road alone. Hallelujah. Be still. Stay strong. Hey, take care.